Hello, so for this video I am going to teach a lesson for our preschool students on the competency goal 3. The learner will make connections through the use of oral, written language, and media technology. The student in my class has issues with cognitive development and literacy. He has retention delays. He has difficulty understanding multiple step directions and problem solving and planning skills. He has issues staying on task. He has problems staying on task and with fine motor skills and displaying appropriate behavior for the classroom setting. So for this lesson, I use the base lesson of reading a story I like myself and create a Kid Picks Smartboard presentation collaboratively for the students. So in the beginning, I will first engage the students by describing some things about myself, and I will ask the students if they have any similar characteristics to me, or if they have any differences or any fun facts about themselves. I'll describe how it is important to learn to describe themselves and to describe other friends so that we can get to know our fellow peers in our class and get to know others. So when I read the book, I will first read. I will ask you to describe the front cover. We will discuss the author, the illustrator, what their job is. Just by reading the story, you will practice language. Will help to expose them to various higher level vocabulary. It will help build print awareness and story sense throughout the story. I will ask what is going on, what are the characters, what they think is going to happen, to practice their problem-solving skills, and then from after reading the story, we'll now discuss that we are going to make our own presentation, and each student is going to create a page describing themselves, just like the character in the story. The two groups, there will be one group that has higher language and cognitive literacy skills, and one that is a little lower. And the student who I am modifying this lesson for will be in the lower group with a teacher assistant with him, and with edibles to be used for reinforcement whenever a positive behavior is displayed. In each group, there will be a think, pair, share, in which each student will be paired up with another individual who will help reinforce learning and help them promote their language skills and socialization skills. During the think, pair, share, the students will discuss what their favorite activity is, or 3 facts about themselves. In the lower group, they will have a prompted sentence in which they will discuss, what my favorite activity is. So they will just have to discuss with their partner what their favorite activity is. And then after a minute or two, the teacher will go around and they will ask the partner what their partner's favorite activity is. And then after all of the students have shared with each other what their partner's favorite activity is, the teacher will then give the students crayons so that they can illustrate their favorite activity. And then the teacher will write on the bottom what their favorite activity is. So this is step 1. This is step 2, actually, in planning their project. The first step was discussing with their partner what their favorite activity is. So that's the first step. Again, to repeat the skill and to be able to address the skill in another way, the students will draw the image. So first they were discussing it, now they are drawing it, and again they are repeating the skill by discussing it with the teacher, which the teacher will write it on the bottom. So just by reinforcing and repeating the information, it will help all students, but especially the student who the lesson is modified for, retain the information in multiple steps. And the higher group will have to, just to differentiate among learning, discuss 3 facts with each other And if there are any issues with staying on task or coming up with 3 different facts about themselves, the teacher will, based on the teacher assessment, will give students more guidance and maybe asking them to ask each other what their favorite color is, what their favorite activity is, what their favorite food or sport is, just to give them some guidance and some background knowledge to build upon when creating and discussing their facts. And again, the higher group, the teacher will then go around and ask the partner, and will ask each student what their partner's 3 facts are. And again, they will draw themselves either doing one of their favorite activities, maybe draw them doing their activity with their 2 other facts incorporated, such as their favorite color or their favorite food. But by the students drawing, it is the beginning stages of writing, and just the students representing certain objects, even though it's not artistically the correct maybe way of drawing the image, as long as they can represent certain things with certain shapes and discriminate between colors and shapes. It is a beginning stage of writing. It's very important for preschool students. And also for the student who has developmental delays, it provides an alternate assessment and an alternate form of learning and describing himself. And then after this is done, it will probably be time to wrap up for the period, and then this project will be addressed either later on during centers or the next day during centers. And so the next part and the last stage of the project is when the teacher will work one-on-one with the students to create their page in the KidPix PowerPoint presentation. So what the students are going to do is the teacher will come up with their student from their group, and the student will have their sheet with them, and they will describe what they had drawn, and then they will recreate it and to the best of their ability and using KidPix. And then the teacher will write again what their favorite facts about themselves or their favorite activity, depending on their group. And at this time, it might be a little more difficult for the student who has cognitive developmental disabilities to stay on task, so the use of edibles will probably be very important during this time. He will receive verbal praise and goldfish whenever he stays on task and completes the project. If the creating the project on his own might be too much pressure, so he might need a lot of redirection. And if this doesn't work, he can do the final PowerPoint in 2 installments, maybe a minute here in the beginning and a minute at the end. But again, this provides another alternate way of learning and for him to be able to describe himself, and is another way of the teacher assessing if the knowledge was learned and if the student can make connections from himself through oral, written, and through media technology. So every different aspect has been checked off through this lesson. And at the end, if there is time, the teacher, based on teacher assessment, the teacher will play the whole PowerPoint presentation, and the student will come up and describe their image and some facts about themselves. And they will do this by the teacher asking the student to come into the classroom and tell their peers some interesting facts and describe their pictures to their peers. So this provides another assessment and more interaction, socialization for the students, and help to build upon their language skills and expose them to a new form of media technology. So this is my lesson for cognitive development and literacy through the use of the story I Like Myself and through media technology. And the student who has cognitive delays and will be given edibles and constant redirection and praise and positive reinforcement for any sort of behavior or action or positive act. And there will be clear steps laid out, so planning skills will be discussed, so the student will be won't have any fear of failure, and there will be visuals along with verbal guides, and there will actually be a physical tangible sample so that students could also use to help complete the project. And that is how I would modify the lesson for the student. Thank you.